Mr. President.
The senator from Nevada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a difficult anniversary for people in Nevada and across the country. Tomorrow marks 4 years since the Route 91 Harvest Festival attack. And on that day 4 years ago, thousands attended a concert on a late summer night in my hometown of Las Vegas. They were at the festival to enjoy an evening with friends and loved ones. 58 of them never made it home. I will never forget waiting with families at the reunification center in Las Vegas, where they braced themselves for the worst possible news. 2 more people have died of their wounds since the attack. Over 800 people were injured in the shooting.
The Senate will be in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Over 800 people were injured in the shooting and in the chaos that followed as people fled for safety. And countless members of our community are still dealing with the emotional scars left by the violence of that night. For those hundreds of concertgoers and for their loved ones, 1 October is a lingering presence, one that can return in a rush at the faintest reminder, like the sound of sirens or fireworks. The day remains the deadliest mass shooting in modern American history. While a nightmare unfolded around them, hundreds of people sprang into action to save lives, even at the risk of their own. Brave first responders rushed to the scene to direct people to safety and transport the wounded. Healthcare workers jumped into action. Ordinary Nevadans stood in line for hours and the days after the shooting to give blood to those in need. And businesses all over the state and country provided every imaginable support, from food to blankets to airline tickets. I think about that contrast every time I think of October 1, 2016, between the darkness of the circumstances and the light of our community coming together in the aftermath. In the midst of terror and heartbreak, a whole city, a state, a country of people showed up to help one another. And I am so proud of Nevadans whose first response to tragedy was to help their community heal these painful wounds. On that horrible night and the days after, every selfless act, large or small, made a difference. From bystanders who turned their pickup trucks into ambulances, to the thousands of Nevadans who put Vegas Strong signs in their windows to show survivors that they weren't alone. Nevadans came together to help. Now, we cannot undo the terrible actions or those tragic events, but we can always do something to lessen the weight of these events. And even though years have passed, we still owe it to everyone touched by this tragedy to continue moving through our grief toward healing. And there is still so much that we can do. Every time we reminisce about those we've lost, we help their loved ones keep the memories alive. With every donation to the memorial scholarships, we honor those affected by the shooting. We help survivors deal with the impact of this tragedy when we talk about the mental health toll that the shooting has taken, and when we work to decrease the stigma around mental health issues. I've consistently worked to expand treatment options for mental health and substance abuse issues, and I'll keep pushing in the Senate to support life-changing care for those facing mental health challenges. We make it better when we advocate for common sense laws to prevent gun violence as well, like the ones that we've passed in Nevada. It's unbelievable that I am standing here on the Senate floor 4 years after I first spoke about this tragedy, and that we still have not been able to pass background checks and common sense gun safety measures. The majority of Americans are with us. We need to act because Las Vegas deserves it, and so do communities all across the nation. We cannot continue to stand by as mass attacks and shootings take a tragic toll all over the United States. To the people of Las Vegas, who continue to grapple with the pain we experienced on that day, know that I am with you. We'll continue to work to create a permanent memorial at the site of the shooting, to be a tangible reminder of what we know, that even in the darkest times, especially in the darkest times, we can come together to help one another, and we can make a difference. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.